You're tuned into the It's Real podcast with your hosts, Kayla, Kallander, and Andrew Yaggie. Each week, we'll talk about what happens behind the scenes working full-time in real estate and share with you real-life stories, our successes and failures as we work to help consumers and industry professionals reach their real estate and real-life goals. Here we go.
It's episode 94 of the It's Real podcast. I'm Kayla Kallander, and I'm a mortgage lender.
I'm Andrew Yaggie. I'm a real estate agent.
Hey, Andy. How's it going today?
Going pretty good. Just kind of enjoying some of the temperate weather. We'll see what we get for inclement weather here with kind of the system that's moving through. But no, things are going good. It's hard to believe that next week is Christmas week already. And with that, I don't know about you, but us, quite a few travel plans. Try to get all of our various families in. Although it's good.
Yeah, it's crazy this time of year. Although, first off, I do love a good weather system every now and then. And we've had crazy weather that was -20, +45, like typical Midwest weather. But the fact that Christmas is around the corner, I know we all say it just flies by. And I think a lot of us, I just talked to another lender friend of mine. She's like, where is this slow December we were promised? It's just been busy, and there's holiday events, and I don't know, do you guys do Elf on the Shelf at your house?
We do Elf on the Shelf. We do it. Yes.
That's a commitment. That's a big commitment.
If it wasn't for my wife, we would not do Elf on the Shelf because I probably would not be consistent enough about it. But it's pretty good. Ella, who's our second grader, she's a little, has friends that, talk about not believing in Santa, not believing in the elf and whatever. But so she's kind of, she's doesn't know what to believe sometimes, but still is choosing to believe. And
love that. Yeah.
I don't know, a little bit of a challenge, but no, it's good. The holidays are such a magical time for kids and for families.
It's awesome. And that's just, it's just busier, but it's flying by, but we are very, very busy in mortgage. How are things on your end with, selling houses, helping people buy?
Usually I say, and I tell people, kind of the week before Christmas and, Christmas and through the end of the year are pretty quiet, but wow, I moved 5 different properties in the last week, which gives me a little bit, more. I've been excited, thinking about 2026, and as our team got together and did some business planning, even, talking to individuals thinking of buying and selling, reading the industry news that we all read, about the new year. But it's like, wow, I'm even maybe a little bit more excited about the new year because it's kind of telling me that, hey, there are some people that are pretty motivated out there.
There are. And I think, the competition's lessened, and just because it's the holidays and just because it's, time off doesn't mean people are putting their dreams on pause. So, we're set up for probably our biggest January in my career, probably. And it just tells me how excited people are to buy. And it's not just about the rate. It's not just about the price. It's about, what they can do and the wealth they can build and the memories they can make. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah, right on. Right on, Kayla. Well, so speaking of the market, and so you said you have a lot of people that are, coming getting pre-approved. Are you having a lot of clients who are approved go under contract?
Yeah, quite a bit. We're seeing quite a few. I think yesterday I submitted 4 or 5 new files to be processed, meaning active purchase agreements. A lot of closings in January. So people are still willing to take that step. So not just a lot of people inquiring, a lot of action being taken. So it's nice, to see. Same for you?
Yeah, I would say the same. People that are motivated. I've had a number of properties that, it's been the strangest thing even this month and probably the end of November, properties that, have kind of sat there. Maybe they're in a more rural area, or maybe there are some features that the average consumer doesn't, maybe regard quite as high. And they've been sitting there problematic. And I shouldn't even say problematic. Like there were some sellers that, they've had a lot of anxiety about, hey, we have a goal, we want to get there. Others are like, hey, we're not in a rush. If we don't sell till spring, like we're good with that too. But a number of these homes that have maybe been sitting all of a sudden are not getting just 1, but 2 offers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so So I'm seeing, motivation for a variety of reasons. A lot of life circumstance changes, job and just, career moves and things. So it's really good. But I would say too, people are maybe a little bit more excited just as rates are perceptually falling a little bit. Kayla, what are you
Yeah.
seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing, rates are kind of, they dipped a little bit. So around 6.25, 6.27, according to Mortgage News Daily. For FHA, we're seeing under 6, we're seeing in the 5s. And a lot of people said, when we get in the 5s, that's when I'll buy. But, we're seeing them behave basically. We're not seeing, increases. People are asking, should I lock now? And ultimately we coach people. If you're in contract and you're saying, should I lock my rate or should I float it? I always say, would you rather lock and find out that rates declined? Or would you rather not lock and find out that rates went up? Like, what's your risk appetite? And I think really talking to clients, okay, for every 0.125, it's a $38 a month difference, just coaching people. I'm not seeing rates deter people. I'm not seeing rates be a hot topic. I think what's the hot topic is, I want this house. We're ready to upgrade. We're ready to move across the country, whatever it may be. So it's just nice because a lot of times all we talked about were rates, and in reality, I'm seeing it's not as big of a factor as it was.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, that's good to see. And I haven't seen any updated MBA forecasts or anything, kind of looking into next year. And I know, kind of the guidance that we've seen is that hey, rates are going to kind of stick around the same spot. But I don't know. I think that, again, I think anything could happen. I know our administration right now has talked a lot about, hey, we want to get rates down more. We want to get, make housing more affordable as well. And so I don't know. I think we're going to see a better market in 2026. I think we're going to see a lot of activity, a lot of people who have been sitting around not selling or hanging onto their home. I think they're going to, they're going to make the move. I think a lot of buyers are going to re-enter the market. So for those that are sitting out there still thinking, oh, I'm just going to wait, you probably still have some opportunities for less competition between now, and when the weather really, gets nice again.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people post. There were a couple, I don't know if it was from Inman or where it was from, but a lot of realtors and lenders posting like 2026 is going to be a big year. And so it's just a reminder to people, like, I'm actually surprised how many people are, I've had 2 people reach out in the last couple hours just today, and they were qualified back in the summer and they're like, hey, I'm ready to go again. And I'm very impressed with people being proactive to say, I'm not going to wait till the new year. I want to get ahead of the curve. I want to make sure I've got all my ducks in a row so that, when, next year comes, I'm ready. So yeah, that's really cool to see people just being proactive.
Right.
Getting ready for a big 2026, right, Andy?
Big 2026 indeed. We're excited. We sat down as a team. I think I mentioned it, and with the agents that I have on, because we've been growing a little bit and kind of ramping up for the new year. And, so we sat and did kind of some, some team learning, and then, talked about individual business planning. And so now I'm taking the time to sit down with my team individually and say, well, what are your goals? We're going to hold you accountable for it. And then also, how do we work towards our overall team goals? So I'm kind of excited about that. I think it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, and I think this is the time of year too, when now's the time to plan so that you can hit the ground running in January. And having team meetings are so important. Accountability, goals. We do like a SWOT analysis. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You can do that, for your own business. It really fine tunes like where should we focus and what did we do that was right last year that worked, and what did we learn? And what I like to do is, this is probably unconventional, but I like to go through my library on my phone, my photos, and go back to say, even like personally, and say, okay, what were things that were awesome and were great, and where were the valleys and where were the hurdles? And looking back, not just at a calendar, but your photo library is interesting, because I do a lot of screenshots too. And Lord knows I don't delete photos. I have like 107,000 on my phone. Terrible, I know. But even just like reflecting this time of year, like, oh, wow, I forgot about that. Because how often do we focus on the next goal, focus on the next thing? That's kind of what I do this time of year. And it's like transformational for me to prep for the next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like that. And I frequently will look back at photos as well. And sometimes, if I'm flying and taking trips and we're cruising from A to B, the autopilot's on, and, we're just hanging out. And even from past years, just to look and, it's really easy to think, I'm not where I should be in life, or I'm
Yeah.
not, as far along as so and so, or, man, Kayla's really crushing it in every area of life, and I'm not. And, we talk about thief being the comparison of joy, but then also looking back over the years. And I was looking back to like when I first got into real estate, and even some of the first video I did, and stuff I put out there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was bad. But
Hmm.
wow, look at how far you've come. And even for individuals out there, looking at various things that have happened in life, or even real estate, looking back at, maybe that first house, or that maybe that place you rented, and looking at where you're at now. It's really easy to forget how far we've come in so many areas of life.
It is. And I will say, I've talked to a few people recently and they're like, yeah, I've had to shut off my social media. And it's so true. Like our team, like we will hit a career record this year. And yet I still will hop on Instagram or TikTok and be like, well, but look at that lender. But you want to know what's funny is, we can pull up each other's numbers, and just because you're crushing it on your videos and it seems like your life is just easy peasy lemon squeezy, doesn't mean maybe you're crushing it at work, or maybe you're crushing it at work, but your home life is a mess. And I think it's just, I'm so guilty of it. I hop on and I'm like, oh gosh, that lender is, doing this and expanding her team. And it's so easy. We still do it. Social media is fabulous, but we have to remember and be grateful for what we have and how far we've come individually. Like when you look at your videos, Andy, you're like, wow, look how far I've come. But it's easy to get in that trap.
For
Guilty.
sure. So tell me, Kayla, the holidays, a lot of
Yes.
people, so obviously there are various triggers that are popping up here for individuals.
Mhm.
They're thinking, and, maybe some of them are thinking about next year, new year, and, they're just trying to get teed up and ready to go, or, whatever the case is. But
Mhm.
why do the holidays, do you think, trigger people to have that desire to start thinking about a home or to buy one?
I think the holidays are a huge time where people are thinking about their own homes and the thought of, do I want to be here? I mean, think about it. You decorate your house for Christmas and you're like, oh, I wish I could put up a tree here, or I wish I could, host. Or people are like, let's do baking. And you're like, well, I can't. I've got a friend that she's like, I can't host. They're actually building, but they're like, I can't host ever because my first floor is cold. I hate it. It just kind of puts the spotlight on things because you're having family in, you're seeing the things on social media, the beautiful homes. And I think it just puts a spotlight on, am I happy with where I'm at? Or you're attending someone's house and they're able to host. So I think that that's a time where people just really are reflective because all of the things are happening, and a lot of it involves being home or in other people's homes. So that's kind of what I see is just being around family and being inside a lot, and it just exposes, are you able to have the traditions at your house? Are you able to do, is there enough room for, is it Elfie to do the things? Like that's my 2 cents. But what
Mhm.
about you? What do you think it is?
Yeah, no, I think so. And two, I just think people are starting to get kind of a jump on their goals for the new year, or like, man, we're sitting here in last winter. We said, hey, we're going to get into a new house this next year. And because, hey, we hosted the holidays or whatever, and it didn't go very well, or it was cramped, or, hey, we just thought like this would be really great. And hey, maybe we forewent getting gifts for each other and said, hey, we're going to save that money and work on our real estate goals. It never happened. And hey, here we are in the same place as we were last year. I don't know about you,
Mhm.
Caleb, but even, housing aside, like I make a vision board every year and I put it kind of over my workspace at home. I have a lot of different sayings and different things that I found meaningful. And I put that vision board up there and I look at it, and I look at so many of the things that I had created this time last year. And it's like, oh, didn't quite get there. No,
Yeah.
didn't do that. Did not even touch that. And
Mhm.
but hey, made some progress there. Hey, went far surpassed that particular area. And so again, we talk about, comparison and the like. And so it's easy to say, hey, I didn't reach my goals, but realistically, you maybe just went down another path, or life sent you down another path. Um, and now, like we talk in the case of a house, hey, the holidays triggering the fact, all of those memories from last year, and kind of maybe a
Mhm.
little kick in the rear end saying, I need to get moving.
I would say too, that's a really good point is you're reflecting on the last year. And when you're like, am I where I was at? Am I still here? And I see clients that I talked to 2, 3 years ago and, house prices are going up, rates haven't changed. And I can tell a lot of them. And some have told me, gosh, I just wish I would have, acted, or some are saying, I'm so glad I did. But yeah, it's a time of year where it's just a very reflective time.
Mhm. Well,
Mhm.
speaking of reflection, Kayla, I appreciated this article in Inman the other day that talked a little bit more, about people thinking about houses, and even this obviously is more of a guideline for agents and lenders, since it's an industry publication. But
Yeah.
it's talking about the fact what happens when you stop selling bedrooms and start selling Saturday mornings. Agents who lead with lifestyle, not layouts, are winning buyers in a market shaped by delayed life decisions.
Hmm. Yeah.
Talk about that from your point of view.
Oh my gosh, I could talk about this for an hour. When I talk to my clients, first time home buyer, let's say, they're like, hey, I really think I want to buy a house. I don't send them an application and say, cool, we're going to get you qualified and awesome. No, we talk about, well, tell me what's motivating you. Oh, I've got a dog and it's in an apartment and we really want to expand our family. We want to have kids next year. And you really talk to people about their pain points and their pleasure points. So it's like, well, what is motivating you? Why? It's not because a lot of times it's not always, well, it's an appreciating asset and I really want 4 bedrooms because I just want, another bedroom. It's, I want more space. I really want to stop paying for someone else's mortgage. I really want to move across the country for a new job or what have you. And so I take the exploratory approach of finding why people are motivated and saying to them too, well, what are you most afraid of when you think about buying a home? Because that allows me to see, okay, where are the things we can focus on to help kind of get them off the ledge or to convince them that, hey, that's actually not true, because a lot of things are myths that they hear. But also, I think it's just having conversations and talking about people's lifestyles. I feel like a lot of agents and lenders might say, well, here's your payment and here's your cash at close and see you later. But they're not taking the time to discover like what's in people's hearts and their minds. So I relate to this article a lot because people are thinking about their Saturday mornings on the patio. They're thinking about reading their kids bedtime stories. They're not thinking square footage, bedroom. Yes, those are important, but we really need to get to the core and have empathy and understand what is motivating you, what is triggering you. We talk about the holidays. I've always wanted to host Christmas and I never can do family baking at my house and etc. So I relate to this as this is storytelling. This is talking to people and finding the things that make them light up inside. What do you think of the article, Andy? I'm sure you can completely relate.
Yeah, I really liked it. And, so for agents, especially, it talked about, build a lifestyle vertical. So be a specialist. So like in our area, it's easy to be a specialist in Lakeshore, for instance, because,
Yeah.
hey, a lot of people they want to live on water for a variety of reasons, and not everyone for the reasons you might think. So, becoming that expert, or maybe like be the equestrian property expert. Like I know a lot of people in the horse community. And so, and I've listed a couple of properties that have fallen in where, hey, they could be a horse property, and all of a sudden I'm getting featured on some of these websites. And so it's like, hey, I'd never thought about that. But I think ultimately for individuals, really, and even, finding an agent or even a lender that, is willing to talk with you about your goals and your dreams and your lifestyle, and lead with life. Don't lead with layout. Lead with, hey, what are you to do with this? Because even I look at, as we ponder our real estate goals at home, like, hey, there's nothing wrong with the number of bedrooms or bathrooms per se, but we're just kind of looking at the lifestyle pieces as well, and wondering like, hey, does it make sense, to invest in this location based on, kind of our lifestyle goals, or, would we be better off selling and going elsewhere?
Well, and I agree 100%. And I think so often we're focusing on the rates 6.25 today. Well, what does that mean? Okay, that means X to your payment. I feel like people are payment matters, right? Like when you buy a vehicle, you're wondering what your payment, like what you spend your money on. Some women buy handbags and shoes, some buy hair extensions. All I'm saying is that we make what is a priority to us where we spend our money. And what I'm saying is people want that feeling of owning a home and having a family. And so when you're leading with payment, square footage, and XYZ versus tell me more and let's talk about your goals and your vision, Just like we have our vision boards for 26, I would challenge clients to say, what is your vision? Yes, payment square footage matter, but what do you want for your family? So yeah, I love that article.
Yeah, great article, Kayla. So,
thank you. Amen.
well,
I'm going to think about
unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, because I know you've got to get moving. I've got to get moving as well. But have a great rest of the week, Kayla. And if I don't talk to you, have a Merry Christmas with you and your family.
Merry Christmas, Andy.
See you, Kayla.
Bye.